Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Amused Jester. My name is Junior, and today we're finally gonna go ahead and review the first ever Haslab from Hasbro for the Star Wars The Vintage Collection. This is the sail barge of Jabbas called the Khetanna. This is gonna be quite an interesting review. Obviously, it's been out for over what 4 or 5 years now, and so I'm quite late to the game. What I'll do is I'll go over the ship while I narrate how I got it, and just point out some of the features that I'm seeing. Obviously, if we're gonna be doing this handheld, it's gonna be kind of choppy. I'll try to move like this slow, but obviously it's gonna take um, a lot of time. I'm moving this slow, that way the camera isn't so janky and everything. So hold on for a second. All right, so we're back. This is Jabbas sail barge, and we're gonna start off in the back over here. As you can see, some of the windows do open up a little bit, not by a lot, but it's enough so it gives you a little bit of dimensionality. So it's a little bit more interesting like that. We'll pull off this panel. There's a panel over here in the back that goes like this, and the best thing to do is just, there's a lip over here that you can separate. Just pull it out and then down, and you can see the detail that's going on over here. And we'll look at Jabbas peak over there. Look at that, peaky Jabbas. The interior still has a nice wood grain. Oh wow, look at that. He's got a trophy head, or maybe it's just a sculpture. So that's kind of interesting to see. I mean, who's gonna see that from the inside? Only the toys, but then they still put out that kind of a detail. And there's like wood grain over here. I'm assuming these are actually kind of like maybe portholes, but I think it's not meant to be there. That's just, but it's still kind of interesting enough, because up here you see these small holes, which I do think are intentional. Oh look, it's screwed over here. What is it screwing in? Huh. Oh, this part is separate. This overhang. Interesting. And look at the mechanism here in the bottom. This doesn't really move. It just looks like it might. And the only movement you see is like that. It's not a lot. Let's put it aside here. And look at Jabbas over there, all naked and stuff. So I don't have a lot of figures that fits into Jabbas' world. I do have, of course, we're gonna need an R2D2, right? Here's an R2D2, and I have a couple of slave Leias. This one in particular came with the gunship, the deck gun. So she's already holding her stuff over here. This is gonna oh my god, this review is gonna take so long if we're doing like this. Let's see. Let me close in a little bit. Look at the detail on the inside. Like these, I don't know what these are for, but it's there. And as you can see, it's like see-through plastic. It's got some sort of design. And there's 1, 2, 3 on the back, and then here at the bottom is some sort of control panel alongside here. Oh, there's another control panel over here too. And yeah, it's some sort of Rancor statue. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, the interior, nobody is ever gonna see it except for the toys. Unless of course you open it up, then you kind of, I guess you're aware it's there. And then there's a, what do you call that? Gamorrean guard head over here. Oh, and some sort of sculptural relief down here. Let me zoom in on that. There's that relief that I was referring to earlier. It's kind of hard to see, so this looks like Jabba, and then some reclining female figure here. And then I'm assuming these are his cronies in the background. Some sort of curtain rod and everything. Obviously, we can't really look at it too closely because it's actually attached to the back of the wall here. I don't think this is Jabba himself because this hut seems to have oh, maybe this is his arms. I don't know. There's a detail on the Gamorrean headpiece over there. We're taking a look and peeking into Jabba's throne room. This is Jabba. Actually kind of interesting. I have another Jabba, and oh, you know what? It's not the same sculpt. It's different. I'll pull it out in a little bit. Here are some columns going on here, some design. Is there anything on the ceiling? Oh yeah, look at that. Some architectural design up on the ceiling. So this is not the usual, was this the hookah or whatever he has? This is some sort of communication device because that's the mic or something. And if you look at the bottom, yeah. Look at that. Look at the coils over here. And this one, I believe it's, when I saw this, oh, it is moving. Let me move Jabba out of the way because Jabba is just free floating. But it's actually stuck in there. But look, it's moving over here off to the side like that. Huh. But nothing forward, just side to side. What? I wonder what the purpose of that is. And there's no sliders underneath the ship. So you only slide it back and forth using your hands. Interesting. So you can have more room here if you want. Again, some interesting sculpting detail, and look at the floor. Designed to simulate wood, and the flooring, the coloring looks good too. Let me open up the second panel. Alright, let's open up the second panel over here. Alright, so again, there's like a lid down here. Just pull it out. This is kind of scary though, because just gotta be careful. You don't want to break any of the tabs over here. So this window opens. So it's just this part that opens, and then we'll turn it around so you can see. I don't think it opens any more than that. And I don't want to push it because I remember there's a picture where one of the guards was actually peeking out to shoot, but there's no way you can open up this any more than that. It feels like it's, see how the top part is gonna hit. So I think that's basically it. I don't want to force it. Oh, by the way, this is an $1,800 purchase. I think I mentioned that before. And I think it's a fair price for what's it's going for right now. I believe this was, remember, this is a sealed, completely sealed specimen, which is probably going to be around maybe 2,000 to 2,400. But I could be wrong because I'm seeing it sometimes at 1,600 and everything. But I still feel like I got a good deal out of it because he originally was asking for 1,950, and I was able to lower down his price to 1,800. He agreed on that, and I felt I was kind of lucky because remember, I still didn't have to pay taxes or shipping. So if it was on eBay and I got it for 1,800, it would still come up to be like 2,100, with tax and shipping. Anyway, so it's a high price to pay for, and normally I wouldn't have bought this at all. But let's do a close-up and we'll continue the story. So here's a close-up of that compartment. We were coming from here. Here's a doorway. So normally I would not have purchased this at all, but it just so happens that I was also I decided to sell my, what's this? Some sort of sticker in here. Look at that. Is there another deck underneath here? There is. I've never even heard about that. Anyway, it just so happened that I remembered that I had a second Star Trek from the original series, 1/350 scale die-cast from Tomy. And I looked it up, and it was usually going for around 2 to 2,500. And I was like, I don't think I'll ever need. Does this lift? Ooh, look at that! A secret compartment. And here's on the inside. A secret compartment. I was never gonna need a second Enterprise, so I figured I was gonna sell it and put it out in the market out there, local, obviously. There's a hole here. There's a walkway. This plank, it corresponds to here, and this opens up. So I thought I was gonna sell. Well, I know I'm selling the Star Trek from Tomy for maybe like 1,800, and then I don't know what made me think, because it's currently the Haslab gunship, and I don't know what made me think why. I thought to myself, well, let me check and see what's going on with the Khetanna. How much is the Khetanna going for? And I looked and I saw this one. This is 1950. I was like, wow, 1950. So my first instinct was to ask the guy, hey, do you want to trade? I have the 350 scale Tomy. I'd rather it was the trade, because then I wouldn't have to deal with the hassle of trying to sell it. And if the Tomy sells, then it would be equivalent to what I paid for here. And I paid for Tomy for that one for $5.99, which would mean that I would have ended up with the Khetanna, paying for the Khetanna for, oh, these stairs lead to these hatchets, for $600, which is almost what it was costing then. So I would have paid for the Khetanna for retail price. Is what I'm trying to say. I haven't sold it yet. I mean, it's on the marketplace Facebook. I'm not in any hurry to sell it. I know it will sell eventually, so I'm not in any hurry to sell it. And that thing only had like 2500D. The Star Trek told me only had 2500 produced. So the longer it's out there, the more rare it's gonna get because more people will open up theirs, and less specimens will be unopened. Look at that. That is so cool. Some dead animals ready for cooking. A grill. Restaurant quality. Kitchen sink. It's even got the drop down faucet. Stove. Grill stove. Here's the doorway to the next compartment. And some weapons rack. And there's the what it looks like up there. It's really quite interesting. So much detail is going on here. And then you look at the way the stairs are painted. Look at that. It's weathered. That's really cool. This is what was missing in the Ghost. This kind of detail, not only in the sculpture but in the painting. Look at this column over here. It's all nasty looking with rust and everything. Then you even have the interior where the joist, is that what it's called, is painted, but this one is not. Or maybe it's designed to be like that. This one is not too. So, and I forget my train of thought why I started talking about. Oh yeah, so this is 1800, and we'll put that factor in as we consider the value and everything of this. And you can see the gangway over here. By the way, some detail going on. Here's the gun. This is a different gun that she's gonna be usually standing on. Oh, I left her thing. That looks pretty cool, huh? It looks about the right scale for her. Can I open this up one-handed, single-handed? Yeah, there you go. Cool. Now during the unboxing, oh look at the inside of this part. It's all metal. So unlike before, oh, that makes sense because here, of course, it's wood. It's luxurious. This is the kind of like the compartment where he lounges, so that's got to look attractive. But here in this part, where it's like the jail cell and the control room, it's all rusty and ugly. Of course, why would you need this to be pretty, right? Look at that. So this, I don't think that's the doorway. This is the doorway. So yeah, it would have been an equal value, equal trade. That's what I'm thinking of in my mind eventually. So I just went ahead and bought it. I mean, I feel like it was an opportunity that wasn't gonna come a lot. And there's the thing that I hated doing, that chain, man. Look at that prisoner, he's all dead. And look at how much detail and paint they put on him. I'm gonna try to get in there with my camera. As you can see, look at the piping and everything. There's the top. Yeah, the jail cell's not pretty, boys. I'm still blown away by these hanging animals. All right, let me position myself again. I'm gonna try to open this one-handed, but this is gonna be tricky because okay, there you go, I got it. All right, this is the control room. I don't think this was ever shown in the movie, so this is something that either was in the plans or the Haslab team just made up. But that's kind of cool. Look at how grimy it is. Then you have those display options. The Ghost didn't have so much detail on the display panels and everything, which is kind of a shame. That's one of the things that was so shameful about the Ghost. I think they're course correcting with the Haslab gunship, but yeah, the Ghost kind of left an ugly taste in the mouth because it looked good and everything. It's just paint wise, it was just lacking in everything. It was almost like a half finished Haslab, which is kind of a shame because Haslab is supposed to be premium quality, you know. But yeah, well, let's go open the deck. Those two things. Those are actually in the movie too, and it's mirrored over here. And you can see one of my cannons pointed towards Han. No, it's not. It's just the angle. It's my Millennium Falcon legacy. That was my my pilots, my X-Wing pilots, and my hero side. And over here, the divide of this, whatever this beam is basically where I put my Star Wars characters that are just like denizens, you know, like bounty hunters or scum of the earth, some acolyte figures over there, an N1 Mandalorian, some dancers from Jabbas, and then of course you have the Razor Crest, and then you have some Mandalorians over there, and right there. Yeah, so that's one of the shelves that I have for TVC. Hey, this is supposed to be about the Haslab sail barge. What am I? What is in the background? I still haven't shown you guys my collection of Star Wars, so it's kind of a shame, but I guess this is kind of a peek to it. There's the I think that's supposed to be the table where Obi-Wan and Luke was talking. Everything, some Jawas over there. All right, let me bring out that Jabba and let's do a comparison. Now this Jabba, can you believe this Jabba? So all my Star Wars 3.75 figures, they all started from October of last year. But this Jabba is actually one of my original ones that I collected way back. Maybe like in 1995 when it first got released in Power of the Force 2, that I just stuck somewhere in the corner of my collection and forgot all about it. And I stopped because, you know, Power of the Force, barrel chested, not into what I wanted. That's actually why I don't have a TVC collection of that from that era. I didn't notice that his eyes are actually kind of like plasticky, see-through things. So this is one of my original ones, and I think, yeah, it turns like that. This one came with the Han Solo. But anyway, wow, what an interesting difference. Let me see if I can just squeeze him in here. So for one thing, the one that came with The sail barge, if you look at the mouth, it goes up and then slightly up. Here it just goes right down all the way into the corner. So that's a difference. Obviously, the paint application is so much more better here. You can see the cut in this one is underneath his boobies. This one, it is, but there's no boobies here. Boobies. He can have some articulation. He does have some articulation. Oh, look at that. So this one doesn't. It's just here in the shoulder. And obviously this guy is so much more larger. Right? Look at that. I mean, it really is larger. And then of course this has the articulate tail. So in my mind, to make this whole thing work, that's Jabba the Hutt, and this is Zero. No, not Zero. He doesn't look like Zero. Maybe this is, who is this guy? I don't know. Let's make up a name. Junior the Hutt. Yeah, it's very simplistic, as you can see. I do believe some of them are rubber in some parts. This is not. It's all plastic. This guy's all plastic. Anyway, this is all about Jabba, the new Jabba. So I definitely liked this Jabba better. Better paint application. Yes, better sculpt as well. There's not a lot of movement in this one. There's just basically a waist. We'll call that a waist articulation. Shoulder rotation on the elbow, and rotation on the wrist as well. The wrist goes in and out. And then this one, and that's basically it for Jabba, which is, I mean, like, what they want from Jabba, right? Yeah. Whew. I don't know what else to talk about. That's pretty much it when it comes to Jabba's sail barge. I do want to show off at the bottom here. You can see some more detail going on at the bottom of the ship, and then the boat over here. You can see more detail over here. Those, the back of the Razor Crest, you can see that's where my Senate guards, Imperial Senate guards are. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see, like, over here. Easy. Like, kind of right there. That's George Lucas and his daughter when they appeared in the Clone Wars. Yeah, it's not gonna zoom in or clean up because it's zooming or making this clear and everything. But yeah, that's my Mandalorian section and the Imperial Guards and everything. And then you even have, is that Palpatine over there in the back? Yeah. Anyway, we'll just settle in where we stopped. I think that's good enough, right? I mean, it's an old Haslab, right? It's like 5 years old. Who cares at this point? I mean, I do. I mean, but there's been so many reviews on this thing that I'm sure this is not the very first ones that you've seen. I just wanted to show it again as somebody who's seeing it for the first time, looking at all the details. It's just kind of amazing what's happened. Now, this is the very, very first Haslab, so obviously they put some intense love for this thing, the team and everything, because they need this thing to definitely work. And it shows. It shows some really good paint application. There's no lights, no sounds or anything. So let's talk about the value. So originally the retail price for this thing was $499. 5 years later, we're talking about over 2,000. So about 4 times the retail price, right? So I'm in a unique situation where, as I said before, that I'm selling my Tommy Star Wars, And if I'm successful selling it, then I paid $600 for this thing, depending on how much I'm able to sell my Star Wars, right? If I sell it at 2,000, when I paid 1,800 for this one, so obviously I would have paid, I would deduct the 200 from 600, and I basically got 400. Now this is complete. It's got yak face and everything, and sealed and brand new and everything, except for that one blemish that I showed you during the unboxing. One of these things were broken off, but I'm almost positive that happened in factory. Now, if let's look at the value of this one at the original $500. You have to imagine 5 years ago, $500 for a toy. It is still a toy. Is a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money. But then again, this wasn't the very first $500 toy that we were exposed to. We have the Millennium Falcon from the Smuggler's Run. That was $500, and that came out 2020. Actually, that came out about the same time as this. That one has lights and sound and everything. It's also big. It's got a lot of play factors and play value and everything. And it's an update. It is an old. It is from an old mold, but the paint application was updated and everything. So, but it's still a lot of money. I think I might have heard about the legacy or the Smuggler's Run Millennium Falcon, but I was like $500 at the time. $500 for a toy is expensive for me. I had not broken the, let's say, 300 value ceiling for me. I mean, back then the highest I paid for a toy would be for the Transformers third party, which would be around what, 225. Or no, you know what? The highest I paid for is actually from Hot Toys, which would be around 240 and everything. But that's not I that's not almost considered as a toy. I think it's right down to the collectible already. This is still a collect. This is marketed towards the collectors, but I feel like this was because of the price. But I feel like this is still in the category of a toy, not as a collector. It's kind of weird, the distinction about it. So for $500, I mean, it's my circumstances are different now. If this was offered for $500, I'd buy it because I feel like it would be a good value now, and I'm used to paying $2,000 to $3,000 for a collectible. For example, the does it show? No, it doesn't. The Batwing. The Batwing. Yeah, it's I'm kind of under war. Yeah, 1/6 scale Batwing. That's over $3,000 in shipping and taxes and everything. So I'm used to paying a lot of money for a collectible now. So for $500 now, if this was offered, it would be a good price. But of course, it is not. Like I said, if I sell my Tomy Star Trek, then I would have gotten it for $600, and then it would be a good value. But nobody else is going to be in that position, right? You're going to be paying for this at over $1,500 to $2,000. $1,500 if you're very, very lucky. But so let's settle down that what I paid for is $1,800. Is it worth $1,800? Obviously it is, because I paid for it. And I still think I made a good deal out of it. There's been two people recently who said that they have an opportunity to buy one for $1,500 and $1,600, and for them that's like congratulations. I'm not at any way. It doesn't devalue mine because I still think I got a good deal out of it. Base price 10 equaling to 1,800. The Haslab Khetanna value. We'll start off at 10 because that's the base value, right? 10 being that uh, base value 10, base price 10, everything's equal, everything's copacetic. I got exactly what I paid for and everything. Yes, it does have a value of 10. Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? This is at 1800, right? And let's see. I'm going to go by 1. So the value we'll put at 11 because there are some very interesting details in here. There's a definitely it's a vehicle, but it's also a playset because you can put a lot of the characters in it, and each section is quite very interesting, and you can build a story in each section. Jabbas, the kitchen, the jail, the cockpit, and even the deckhand, the deck. You can build so much story around it, and um, I haven't had a chance to unbox this. Part of the while I was there, the guy is like he kept his stuff immaculate. So he happened to have. And I said, "What else do you have?" It's like, "Well, I have the skiff," and I'm like, even before I went to him, I was thinking I need 2 skiffs. I do because you know you need one for this scene with Han Solo and Luke and Chewbacca and everything, right? So I was already looking online and I saw one for 40, maybe 50, not this particular one, the earlier version. So I said, really? So I said, let me, I mean, what are you thinking of giving it or selling it? And he says, well, you know, it was part of my plan, and how much do you think it's worth it? And I said, you know, online it's probably like $80 if it was, because I saw it's like brand new. Oh, and by the way, I have 2. I was thinking, dude, that's so perfect because I don't want 1, I want 2. Because in the scene, you have this part what carries Luke, and then you have the second skiff that's on going around, like all around Jabba's sail barge. I haven't opened it yet, but yeah. So it ended up being like $50. But look at this, guys. Look at how nice and clean this box is. The one that I was gonna bid on, which had a bunch of stuff that I wasn't interested in. I was making an offer of $40, but it was used. Yeah, the box was messed up. It was the older version and everything. And this is like brand new. Look at this. This guy just kept everything perfectly. And we were at his storage facility. So I'm like, I wish I could afford more. He had so much stuff that he was thinking of getting rid of. But I don't buy mint. I really don't because I'm an opener. It doesn't make sense for me to buy mint and pay high price when I don't have to. Oh wow. Okay, so base value 11 because of the play factor. 1800. I still think 1800 is a good deal. It's like I know it's almost 3.5 times more than it was before. That's my fault though because I didn't. It's a fault because I didn't get into it then, but at the same time, it's not my fault because I really wasn't even thinking of the 3.75. Of course, with how massive my collection is, you kind of need the Jabbas sail barge. Now I have Jabbas sail barge, I have the Razor Crest, I have the Ghost, and if the gunship backs, I'll have the gunship. I did not back the Khetanna because I'm not really into dioramas. The problem with dioramas, especially the Khetanna, is it's gonna take up a lot of room, and it's only specifically for that one scene. So, unlike Jabba's sail barge, which I can hung up on the ceiling with the rest of the ships, it won't take as much room because I am out of room. And as you saw from my the Star Wars that I showed with Razor Crest and the Millennium, that's just one shelf that's packed like that. The rest of the shelves are just like that too. So, yeah. So I needed to get this, or I wanted to have it. And like I'm still confident I can sell it to me, even if I sell it at a lower price of like 1500, it would still be going into this one and it would still be a deal, um, because I don't really need the second Star Trek Enterprise. I'm happy with the one I have, and it's just taking up space. So yeah, 11 value. Is it a 12? I'm almost ready to say it's a 12. What's keeping me from saying it's 12? It's only for my personal experience. It kind of sucks that one of my things here was broken. It's pristine. Oh, the yak face does have damage to the edges. If I can sell that for 175, of course, because I don't really need, like I said, I'm an opener. I don't really need the coin. So it's better to go for somebody who appreciates the fact that it's intact and in the coin. And I just bought the different version one, different card back for 15 bucks. Yeah, I'll give it a grudgingly 12 value, which is what I usually get my figures or toys that I'm really happy with. I'll grudgingly give it a 12. It's quite an amazing piece. Yeah. And I think we'll just end with that, right? So thank you for watching. Thank you for staying the time for me to look at this thing and enjoy it. If you can get it for like lower than 1800, if you can get it for 1500, guys, it's kind of a steal at 1500. I know. Look, it's been 5 years, right? You're never gonna see this for $500. Never, unless for some reason it's trash, it's missing something and everything. Even then, I don't think you'll ever see this for $500 at the current economy and stuff that and pricing that we're going to and inflation. No, there's no way you're going to see this for $500. $1,000, that will be a steal. That $1,000 would be a steal. It's a good price for 1,500. And I think 1,800 is still a great price. I think these are usually. I think the safe bet for this thing is around 2,000 to 2,500 average wise. Anything below that is an opportunity if you can get it, especially if it's sealed. That way I got it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Thank you for watching. Oh, by the way, this one, you can remove this like so. That in camera. To simulate I don't have R2 that got trapped when R2 pushed C3PO into the dunes or into the sand. And then this hatch also opens up too. It's kind of hard for me to open though. Oh, it opens like an actual hatch. I think I showed that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys found it enjoyable. I know it's quite late. But I think, for somebody who likes the Star Wars Vintage Collection 3.75 series, and if you're into vehicle collecting for Star Wars, then and you were doing the Haslabs and everything, then you need to get this. There's really no option of not getting it. So yeah, so let's see. Let's just do a comparison really quick, right? So this is about 17 and a half inches to the end of the Khetanna, right? 17 and a half. The gunship is 29 inches, right? So this is 10 over here. Gunship goes from here to there. Let's just put that into perspective, guys. That's the gunship. Let's mark it here. That's how big the gunship is, guys. Like lengthwise. Now that includes the tip from one gun to the next. Technically, the gunship I believe is like 25 inches. So technically, it ends here. That is still massive, though. That is a big gunship. And it's supposed to be 10 inches high. Now, let's pretend the risers up here, 10 inches high. would be here to 10. So the gunship would be up here. Can you see that now? Can you visualize how big the gunship is? Oh my god. Now, yes, it does. It will be hollow. And like, come on. This is also hollow. Inside of it is hollow. I don't understand that argument. Anyway, and the width, we don't know the width. We know the width of the wing is 30 inch or 31 inches, but we don't know the width of the actual ship itself. But I would imagine it's probably going to be close to this one, if not 3/4 of the width of the Khetanna. Yeah, but that's massive, guys. That's just big. I think it's a difficulty in visualizing how big it is, um, compared to what we have. I think people, especially the people who own the gunship, they're looking at the gunship that they have. It's like it's not that much more bigger than that for 500. That's, guys, it's so much more bigger, I think, and that's the mistake that some of these guys are making. But anyway, I guess I've rambled on again. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next review. Bye.